How you doing, everybody? Welcome in here to the Centier Bank Studios. This is the Hose Connections Halftime Report. I'm Chris Ramirez, and I got the former 59er with me right here, Rick Novak. Rick, welcome in, buddy. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Chris.
Good.
Glad to be
Welcome
here.
back in. Yeah, it's a rainy night out there, so we got the nice cushy assignment in here in the Centier Bank Studios. And when we do this, we get to enjoy some piping hot Langel's Pizza, which will be delivered to the Centier Bank Studios here in, about an hour or so, maybe less. And if you're thinking about pizza tonight, they got a couple different locations. They're not just in Highland. They got one in Crown Point as well. Give them a call. The number in Highland is 923-4900. I know that because I dial it about 4 times a week. But if you're looking, again, pizza, they got beef sandwiches, you name it. They got all that kind of good stuff over there. And tell them when you talk that the Region Sports Network sent you. All right, let's get to it, Rick. The hometown scoreboard, courtesy of our friends at Strachan Van Til, your neighborhood Strachan Van Til market. A lot of games going on. Week 9 already, man.
Yeah, the season has flown by. One more week, and then we're in the playoffs, and that's when things start to get interesting. Where every game, it's win or go home. So I can't wait. One last week though in the regular season. And some good games going on right now.
Yeah, we're going to get to those. Let me ask you, as a guy who, former player who played, recently, and now it has done this for a season. Did the season go by quicker this way? Did it go by quicker that way? Does it seem the same?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I think. I think as I get older, it seems like things go by quicker, just in general. So maybe
that's a good point. You're right about that.
I think that might be skewing things a little bit, but. I think it has felt like it's gone by quicker as an observer, so to speak. It was it was over 10 years ago when I was playing, so it has been a little while. But
well, you're only doing this on Friday nights now too. You're not getting ready. You're not going in on Saturday watching
it's
film and getting all of that,
and
then
practice throughout the week. I think maybe when you only get to really deal with Friday night, or you only have to do things on Friday night, it does go by a little quicker. But,
it flies by. It's really hard to believe that we're already halfway through the final regular season week. So in a week from now, 7 days and about 2 hours, we'll be talking about half the teams who have to turn in their equipment. That's how fast the season goes.
Yeah.
But tonight, it's not about that. It's about getting through week 9 and getting yourself ready for the sectionals. So let's take a look at the Strachan Van Til hometown scoreboard. We'll start down in the Inferno on Commercial Avenue. A couple of 3 and 5 NCC teams going at it in the grass, probably in the mud tonight, and that's good old-fashioned stuff there. Your former high school, just a touchdown in this one. Lowell's got 16 points on the board, so they lead by 9 in the third.
Yeah, I mean, Lowell's had their number for the past few years. I think. I was watching some of the game, and I don't want to be too critical, but the physicality is really lopsided in favor of Lowell. I think they're just so much more tough physically than the Niners are right now, and they have been for the past few years, to be completely honest. And when you get down in this dirty, muddy sort of field scenarios, this sort of playoff-like football, you got to be physical, you got to be able to run the football, and right now the Niners just can't do it, and it's killing them.
And that's one of the things, you look at Lowell's record, 3 and 5. You kind of throw that out the window late in the season, because one thing they do is get better as the year goes on, because they're doing the same thing over and over again and getting better at it. And that's why they're always dangerous in the tournament. How many times have they gone in with multiple losses and still had a good run? Nothing would surprise me by Lowell when it comes to the tournament.
I mean, they're a great program. Coach Kilmer is highly respected, obviously, so you always got to respect them, and no matter what their record is, they're dangerous, they're Lowell, they're worthy of that respect from any team that plays them.
And you think, when they get those home games down in the Inferno, what a home field advantage that is,
It's a hard place to play at. It's a hard place to win at. So not very surprising that the Niners are having some trouble down there tonight.
Speaking of having trouble, Bishop Knoll has their hands full with the number 7 Boone Grove Wolves. It's 2-6 versus 6-2. First game at the new stadium out there just outside of in unincorporated Valparaiso area, Boone Grove Township, 38-0. This Boone Grove Wolves team and Coach Nick Testa, they got something going on. They're looking good.
They can really air the ball out. I think that's one thing. I think they have the leading receiver and the leading passer in the region. They have an air raid type offense where a lot of teams in the area are built to run the football, so a lot of teams build their defenses to stop the run. And when you go against a team like Boone Grove that likes to throw that football around like that, sometimes teams really aren't prepared for that. They really haven't seen teams that have been able to throw the football. So Boone Grove has been catching a lot of people off guard, putting up a lot of big point totals because a lot of teams just can't guard the pass because they don't see it enough.
Benton Central, the Bison, all over the Bowman Eagles. A couple of one-win teams looking for win number 2. It's 46-6 down there in, I believe that's Tippecanoe County. Is that right?
I believe it is Tippecanoe County.
Yep. So 46-6, Benton Central. Bowman having to go a long way to find games this year. West Side and Calumet are slugging it out on the west side of Gary, 22-18, 5-3 and 3-5 going at it. West Side looking for that 6th win of the year. They've quietly had a pretty good season.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's talked about Hanover's transition into the NCC, but Westside stepping into the void that Hanover felt in the Greater South Shore, they've held their own. I mean, they go out there and they win tonight. They're going to get to 6 wins for the 3rd consecutive year. I think they've quietly, for the past few years, they've quietly built up that program where it's respectable on that west side of Gary. It's the only high school in Gary, the only public high school in Gary. They've got the Gary Steelers on the field now. They got the middle school team really going too. They're building something over there. I think they're really getting the infrastructure in place that they hadn't had before, and I think that's going to pay dividends for them into the future.
I agree. I agree with you, Rick. I mean, that drawing area that they have.
It's a huge city.
Yep. There's still, I don't know, 70,000 or whatever
I mean,
it is.
Exactly.
It's shrinking, but it's still big.
I mean,
and that's a great drawing area. I mean, they draw, all the way out of Miller and stuff, all the way to the Hobart and Lake Station line over there.
All the way to Porter County,
and
right?
all the way to 53rd Street in Glen Park. So it's a
Exactly.
massive, massive territory. And, they've had some good coaches over there. Eric Schreiber Jr. was doing a good job. And now Alger Boswell over there. I mean, right guy at the right time for that program. So West Side leading 22-18 in this one. We'll keep you updated on any changes. That's a close one there. Another close one, or at least closer maybe than some expected. Tonight at the Purple Palace, number 4, Maryville, leading Chesterton 21-7. We've got it in the 3rd here.
Yeah, I mean, Chesterton, they're 2-6, but every game they've had has been close. I mean, they haven't really gotten blown out at all. I want to say their worst loss was against Valpo by 2 touchdowns. I think they've only lost by 2 touchdowns. That's their max. They've got a good defense. They've just got so many injuries on their offensive side of the ball that it's a real struggle for them to score points. They've been able to keep teams off the board, but they just can't put up the necessary points to really put up a fight against a lot of these top-tier Duneland teams. But definitely a team that I think you look at the record 2-6, they're better than a 2-win team. They played a tough schedule and they've been just killed by injuries.
Killer conference, the Duneland Conference in Chesterton is a definite victim of that. Good team, losing close games that, maybe in another conference, that wasn't as packed as the Duneland Conference, they're not going to be sitting with a 2-6 record.
It's hard to get wins.
But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, once you're getting to that top tier in the Duneland is really tough. Being one of the top 3 schools in the conference, that's a dogfight.
Oh, for sure.
It's fighting your way and keeping your way out of the cellar in the Duneland, trying to stay in that mid-range and then make that jump when you can. And
that's tough.
Chesterton's been that it seems that team perennially
in the mid-range.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Right there. And just can't seem to get over the hump. And, always putting together good programs. But to me, it's one of the things that makes the Duneland so good is that you're playing a 6-2 team playing a 2-6 team tonight, and it's a good ball game.
Yeah,
and you expect it to be a good ball game.
It's a deep conference. I mean, of course, all the schools in it are pretty large conference in the area, obviously. So they've got the depth. They've got players. So it's when you're dealing with those big schools, they're all, even the ones that don't look good in comparison to the other ones, they're still good. That's the thing. So
yep, well coached. They got a lot of players. They got numbers are always good.
Exactly.
They've got resources at those schools, to do the things they need to do to keep up. It's just hard to keep up. You've got all of a sudden a Crown Point hires a Craig Bazia out of the blue, and look what he does over there. These things just happen in the Duneland. And look what Bill Marshall's doing at Valpo. He's got a machine rolling over there.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to crack that. And that's
is.
you seeing. Roy Richards is dealing with that this year. Nobody expected Portage to be in an 0-8 position. He just, it's a situation where he knows he's got his hands full. He's going to start getting wins, but that's just a perfect example of, how tough it is, to pick up wins once you start conference play. If you're, yeah, any given Friday, you can, a Maryville, well, I would say Crown Point, but it hasn't been them in a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years. But anybody at the top of the conference on any given Friday can be beaten by anybody at the bottom half of the conference.
No, for sure.
But it's not easy, and I think again, Chesterton to me is the perfect example of that.
No, definitely.
Look, moving on here, Wheeler and Griffith going at it tonight. We've got this one on the Region Sports Network. Number 8 Wheeler coming in at 5-3 against Griffith 3-5. 13-6 is our score in this one with Wheeler winning. How about the job Nick Testa's doing over there at Wheeler?
He's done a good job stepping in there. They've always been solid, I think, Wheeler. I mean, they've had a good program, I think, from when I was in school. I mean, they've always been respectable. So he's just kind of stepped in there, not really doing anything, too out. He's kind of just keeping it going. And I think with certain programs, if they have an established culture and they kind of have a way of going about things, and they've got a good thing going, it's not a bad thing to just kind of get in there and kind of just go with the flow, so to speak. So, and on the opposite side, you've got Phil Mason at Griffith, who's trying to do a complete rebuild. So this has been a good game. We've been watching it upstairs and on the TV here. It's been a pretty good game so far. I'm interested to see how that one ends up. I don't think that one's over. I think it's going to be close till the end.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated on that one too. Follow along on the hometown scoreboard courtesy of your neighborhood Strack and Van Til. One thing I do want to mention is we are having, or we're not having, tonight we're not having, it's somebody else is having. Facebook, the mighty Facebook, is having some issues. So if you've been looking for any of our streams, none of them are on Facebook tonight. They are on YouTube. You can find them on our website as well. The scoreboard is on YouTube, on our Region Sports Channel YouTube page. And all 3 games are on the website as well. So don't know what the issue is with Facebook tonight, but that's why you're not, if you've been scouring around, or if somebody's asking you where the game is, do us a favor and tell them it's on YouTube or on regionsports.com. So moving on here, by the way, this is the Host Connections halftime report, and we are in the Centier Bank studios here in Highland. We thank you for joining us. He's Rick Novak. I'm Chris Ramirez. And we got the young bulldog with us here, James Chalice, in the house as well, the intern. And you know what we do to interns around here. You know what I mean? So
We can't say it on camera.
no, but he's in for a long night. So, but you got to break them in, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you got to see how much they can take. So, let's turn the page here. Go down Route 41 to Cedar Lake. The number 2 Hanover Central Wildcats continue to roll. They're 8-0. They're going to go 9-0 here. They're destroying the Hammond Central Wolves, also known to some as the Hammond High Wildcats. It's 35-0. And Hammond Central's not a bad team. They're an athletic club. It's just I didn't, I wasn't sure on Hanover. How good are they? They're starting to look like maybe, they might be able to do something in the tournament.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think in their sectional, I think they're the biggest competition for them has been West Lafayette.
That's it.
And that's been kind of their roadblock the past couple of years, or last year specifically. And I think, if, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think they will probably end up playing that team. And I think that they could take West Lafayette this year. And,
well, they've had Griffith. They've had Hobart on their schedule. They've had Lowell on their schedule this year. They're Andrean, so they're playing quality. It's a step up in
for sure. And they've
in terms of the quality of opponent.
And they've still been not missing a beat basically.
And not much has changed.
No, yeah, I mean no,
exactly.
They've really been impressive. I think. We've talked about it before. I expected them to be one of the better teams in the NCC. I didn't expect them to maybe go undefeated and win the entire thing.
This is surprising.
So
and to roll everybody.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
With the exception of Hobart.
Exactly. So they've been very impressive, and I do think they could do something in the tournament. Can't predict too far down the line, but in the sectional, I think their sectional is very winnable. So it's all about winning the games you can and think about all that stuff later on. But I do think right now, projecting, I do think their sectional is super winnable for them.
Yep, comes down to really one game for them.
I would say so.
And they know who the opponent's going to be, and it's no secrets there. So my guess is they've probably already been putting in a little preparation.
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't want to skip ahead too many weeks. You don't want to look over anybody too much, but I've been a part of some times where maybe let's We'll
at
do
the
some.
end of
We'll do
practice.
some prep for the team this week, but we're also going to do some prep for the team next week. We think. I think that might be going on.
Yeah,
here.
it sure it is. I mean, if you know you're going to roll somebody, and then you can, I mean, you
Yeah,
take
I mean,
nothing for granted, but at the same time, you got to prepare accordingly.
And you got to be realistic.
Exactly. And if your intent is to be playing in, weeks 12, 13, 14, 15, excuse me, then you should be preparing,
I would agree.
for what's coming up down the road. We mentioned Hanover Central 35-0 blowout. How about this one? What's going on with the Highland Trojans? It's 48-0 at the Brickyard. Hobart's a good team, but Highland was expected this year. We put them in the top 10. I saw them over the summer. They looked impressive. They had 30-some seniors in uniform. I gotta say, I'm stunned.
I mean, I don't know anything. I didn't know that they had 30 seniors.
I think the number was 30. The number we were told in the summer was 35. I've got 35 seniors. We've got 35 seniors.
Yeah.
35 seniors in the NCC.
Sometimes it's not just numbers. It's about how good the numbers are. It's.
All right, but
you're.
These were returning players. Okay.
Yeah.
How many guys stick it out 4 years in high school if you're not any good?
I mean, I think you're.
At some point, football is a game of attrition and a numbers game. At some point,
you're right. I agree.
So 35 seniors is an advantage in the NCC. Maybe in the Duneland, you might have to judge it and say how good are those 35 seniors.
No, exactly. I think you're
and
right.
that's not a knock at the NCC, but it's not the Duneland.
Of course, no, you're right.
35 seniors is a lot.
No, you're right. I mean.
So anyway, my point is I had higher expectations here.
Yeah.
I went and saw them at a scrimmage. And I couldn't believe what I was looking at. They held their own with Portage, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I think Penn was there that day. It was at Highland, right over here at the Zipper. It was some 5 or 6A school though,
Okay.
and they not only held their own. I thought they got the better of Portage.
I mean,
so I had I put them in the top 10 to start the year. That was anybody who's anybody who read that.
Well, I mean, it's a long season. You don't know I don't know what kind of injuries they've had, what has happened. I think they started out pretty hot and they've kind of hit a rough patch. And sometimes with teams, when it's that snowball effect, so to speak, where you get one loss and then after that it's sort of like what will go wrong or what can go wrong will go wrong.
Is that where Highland's at right now? What can go wrong is going wrong?
It seems like, 48-0. They're getting the doors blown off of them right now. I mean,
on paper, and this probably should be more competitive than 48-0, don't you think? What's your gut telling you on that?
I mean, I expected Hobart to win and maybe win comfortably, to be completely honest. But 48-0 in the third is
a little more comfortable than you were thinking?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I mean, if we're being honest, yeah, that's and Hobart is good. I mean, and they can really throw the ball around, and they put up big point totals against a lot of teams as well. So they've got kind of an explosive offense, but yeah, I mean, they're really putting the hurt on Highland right now. We were watching some of that game upstairs, and we were a little surprised because it got ugly fast. I mean, Hobart was up 14-0 pretty much immediately, and it's been downhill ever since.
It's been more of the same ever since. Yep, and Hobart, what a tough draw they got, huh?
I mean,
in the tournament. I mean, they've got not only do they get the best team record-wise in that sectional, they got to make the long trip out there to Rolling Prairie.
Yeah, over in LaPorte County, correct?
That's I believe that's St. Joe County.
Oh, okay.
I believe it straddles the line. Anybody want to correct me if I'm wrong or whatever? There's two towns. There's Rolling Prairie and New Carlisle.
Yeah.
One may be on the LaPorte County side, and one may be on the.
So are they Eastern or Central? Are they Eastern time, Central time?
I think we moved the game up half an hour.
Oh, okay.
So which would make them Eastern time. I believe
Okay.
that game will be at 6:30. Again, I could be wrong. If anybody knows different, feel free to.
That's
put it in the comments.
The ping pong balls giveth and they taketh away. You know, I mean, we've got a random system in this state, and for better or worse, there's no seeding. There's, personally, I'm of the opinion that you're going to have to play the best teams in the sectional no matter what. Whether you're going to play them in the first round or the third round, Hobart was going to have to play New Prairie probably at some point here, and. I mean, it is kind of unfortunate that they'd have to play them in the first round, but if you want to win these championships, you got to play the best teams. And we always were of the opinion, hey, we got to beat everybody. It doesn't matter when we play them. So that's my opinion.
And where you're coming from is a player or coach perspective right there. That You're not looking at anything on the outside. It's all about what happens, on the field. Coming at it from a media or fan perspective,
Yes,
the games get bigger each week.
Yes, I agree. Trust me.
Or at least they're supposed to. The meaningfulness of each game
In a
is
perfect
supposed
world,
to get
right? Yeah.
Yes, you're the idea in Indiana versus Illinois, we give out a championship. You win a sectional championship, you win a regional championship, you win a semi-state and a state championship. So you're accomplishing something as you go. You're supposed to be building up to that. In Illinois, you go to the quarterfinals
Yeah,
and
it's-
stuff.
it's
It's
state or
semifinals,
nothing,
quarterfinals.
basically,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's state or nothing. You're not getting a trophy. You're not cutting down nets in basketball. So that's to me the bummer of not having seeding. I would like to see the top teams, 1 and 2, go with the Sagarin ratings. There's no argument
man.
there.
Oh, well, I think when you bring up the Sagarin ratings, some people think they're voodoo science. I'm not of that
All right,
opinion.
then find a
but
better system if that's what you. But
I
but
agree.
if they-
Trust me, I'm not of
they
that
are-
opinion, but I think some people in the IHSAA might be
Well,
of that opinion.
it's
That's
not
the
gonna
problem.
happen. Yeah, this believe me, if the IHSA is watching, they're throwing things right now at their computer screen, going, "Chris, we told you that's never going to happen."
Yeah, I think
But I can
that's-
still want it to happen.
I think that's
to me,
what they
I think
would
that would
say.
improve the tournament.
I agree.
If
I
New
agree.
Prairie and Hobart played in week 3 of the tournament, week 12 of the season,
It'd be cooler.
with a sectional
Yeah.
championship on the line, okay, more people at the game, more interest in the game, the whole shot. To me, the players,
Probably, you'd get more people coming out. Just, their team's been eliminated. So I think you're.
Hold
I
on a
think you're
second.
right.
The intern here is trying to pass a message along. What's up, James? What are you saying? What does this mean? Does this mean hurry up?
I think, yeah, man.
that what you're trying
I
to
think
tell
he
me?
is.
Man,
He's telling
how
us we're
about
talking
it?
too much. I
The
guess.
intern here, I like it. You got some guts, kid. Get it moving, he says. All right, I don't get on the air much. I'm
yeah,
enjoying
right,
myself.
hey.
I got nowhere to be. We got a half an hour before Langles is here. I'm just killing time. You got somewhere you got to be?
Hey, he's got to stay here to the end of the show.
That's
so.
right. Yeah, you're not going anywhere either. So, all right. Well, let's move on here. Lake Station and River Forest. We'll hurry things up, James. 55-0.
Yeah.
River Forest and Lake Station. That was known, I believe, back. I think it still is, as the Uncivil War.
Oh, I never knew that. Okay.
The Uncivil War. And there's also another one. I don't know if it's politically correct to say it. Something about a hill and a civil war. It's Super Bowl. A hill something Super Bowl. I don't know exactly what they're.
I don't know.
I'm not from.
And all the
but-
Lake Station, New Chicago.
Yeah, but they don't like
guys.
each other out there.
Yeah, no, it's a
you know?
rivalry.
And you know what? You could probably do a poll of people in Lake County and ask them, where is New Chicago? And the majority would not be able to tell you. Do you know, James? If someone told you, hey, take me to, I need to get to New Chicago.
He's too young for that.
Yep.
No, I mean, I know. I mean, it's
New
just like
Chicago.
yeah.
And that's a funny name for it, too. New Chicago, because when you go there, Chicago's not what you think about. But it's a great little town. I love going over there. River Forest. They play at the Swamp, we call it. And at first they didn't like that. And I had to explain to them, no, I don't mean it's a dump. It's River Forest, a swamp. That sounds cool to me. That's what I thought. And then they went, oh, okay, that's good. That's back when Andy Wielgus was over there. I think Andy's long gone now. But either way, River Forest winning the Uncivil War, 55-0. They will improve to 6-3. Lake Central and Valpo. This one on the Region Sports Nation. I'm sorry, it's not on Region Sports Nation. That's the Facebook page. Can't get it there tonight. You got to go to YouTube, Region Sports Channel. Vikings. We got an update on this one. 30-0 second half.
I'm sure if we checked on the scoreboard, it would be
Yep.
more for Valpo. At this
Yeah,
time.
we're probably behind because we wrote these a half an hour ago. This is supposed to be like a 7-minute segment, but I'm making Rick earn his money here,
Yeah,
so
right.
he's going to turn in an invoice for this. He's going to earn it. By the way, it's 62-0 now, River Forest. So
okay. I thought you meant Valpo and Lake.
nope. I was backing up right there a little bit. What else do we have here? All right, 30-0. Valpo's winning. Crown Point is winning 32-0 over Michigan City. What can you say about the Bulldogs that hasn't been said already?
Yeah, I think now it's all about trying to make a run. I mean, they've completed the first step of their goal. They've completely dominated the Duneland. They've had one close game, and that was against Valpo. Everyone else they've just ran through, basically. Last year they had the letdown in sectionals. They lost first round to Lafayette Jeff, or excuse me, second round to Lafayette Jeff. and I think it left a bad taste in their mouth. They want to get that sectional trophy, and I think they want to go further than that. And you know, when we talk about region teams, they're, you know, the only two region teams that are in 6A are Crown Point and Lake Central, and Lake Central's still trying to build that program. So Crown Point, if we want to see a team from around here make a run in the biggest class in the state, it's got to be Crown Point. So I'm hitching my wagon to the Bulldogs. I'd love to see Coach Buzz, you know, win one before he retires. And not to say that that's anytime imminent or anything like that, but I'd love to see him win one. And
well, he's not 27 years old,
yeah,
so
I mean, we have to be real,
sooner rather
so,
than later.
yeah,
But he's in no hurry to do it. Yep.
Yeah, no. So I mean, they got a good team and they've been dominant, and I think they just got to keep improving. They're, you know, 6A is a meat grinder. I mean, it's all the
Yeah, it looks like Penn will probably be if they
Penn
get through their sectional, and I think Lafayette Jefferson, and then the winner of who they will open with, and then Lake Central Portage. They'll get the winner of that, and I believe Penn will be. From what I
Penn or
looked at
maybe
it,
Carroll from Fort Wayne.
that could be.
I mean,
one of those two, and that'll be. Is Fort Wayne in that sectional? Fort Wayne would be the region. Would Fort Wayne be the regional or the?
Well, I think
semi?
there's like two Fort Wayne regionals. I think they had to split them. There's like
There's a lot of schools out there.
there's like the South Bend, there's Michigan, there's
Elkhart,
there's
all that.
Penn, Elkhart, Warsaw. I think the one sectional is Penn, Elkhart, Warsaw, and Fort Wayne Carroll. So kind of in that mid region there. Any of those teams are pretty good. All four of those teams are pretty solid. So if Crown Point can make it through that sectional, whoever they get in that regional is going to be a tough game. So, and then, you know, if they advance past regional, they're going to get a team from, you know, the north suburbs of Indy, and they're going to be very good.
Yeah,
so,
yep.
and that's, you know, that's the reality of 6A, and that's why Indy's been super dominant. I mean, it's not just the region can't break through. Fort Wayne and any team down south past Indy, none of them have been able to break through the central Indiana sort of dominance in 6A. So
That's the
I'd love to
roadblock,
see.
yep.
I'd love to see Crown Point do it, and they've
Had
got
a lot
good
of teams
team.
at semi-state. A lot of times we've had 6A semi-state,
We
5A
have.
semi-state when that was the largest class, and getting over that hurdle
It's
has been brutal.
I mean, you know, now to kind of go into the plug, I want to say the last time a team has beaten a team from Indy, a region team has beaten an Indy area team in semi-state was what? Highland beating Carmel in 1987.
Wow.
Right? I
Hey,
want.
speaking of,
That's what I mean. That's what.
very good lead-in, my man. Okay, speaking of, hey, we got tapes, everybody, like this. This is from TCI Cable back in the day. This particular game is Andrean versus Twin Lakes in 1998.
That'd be like a regional game or something. I
that
would
would've been-
imagine, or
this,
semi-state
I
potentially.
don't see a date on there, but yeah, that's probably what it is. Here's another one. Andrean, Mishawaka, Mary. Not everything's Andrean. Although, what did you go through our collection and pull out all the Andrean stuff?
I didn't, but I also have two Andrean ones.
What's
this looks
going
like,
on?
This looks like Andrean versus Westside from December 10th, 1971. This is
that's something. That's old Gilroy Stadium
yeah,
stuff,
man, this
footage
is-
right there, reel-to-reel stuff. So,
Yeah.
but we've got stuff back from the 60s like that, 70s, 80s, 90s, cable TV stuff, coaches film, you name it, and we're running out of places to put it. That's our number one issue. We got to do something with it, and what we want to do is digitize it, preserve it, and distribute it out so you guys can all watch it. We just need a little help with that.
Yeah, no, that's why we're running a GoFundMe. It's Remember the Region. We'll get the links posted. They've been posted on kind of all of our streams, so we really would appreciate any sort of, you know, money that you can give.
Yep.
There's so many games here. This is Andrean versus Highland 1998. There's so many games. We were talking last week about the 1986 Gavitt team that won the sectional title with 13 players dressed. We've got all those games. Just so many great historical things, sporting events. It's not just football either. It's basketball, baseball, etc. And we want to put it into a digital library, make it so anyone can watch it anytime they want. And I think it's a super worthwhile thing, and we would very greatly appreciate any donation that you can give, because it would be a shame to lose all of this great footage. And you got your dad, your grandpa, your uncle, who knows, playing here. I mean, I'd love to go back and see some of these games, so it'd be a shame to lose them. So we really do appreciate anything that you can give.
Very well said. And one thing is it's tape, and tape doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Some of this stuff is old, and right now we're storing it in these airtight containers. It's taking up a massive amount of room, and it's an expensive proposition for a small company. If we were to take on this by ourselves, we'd probably be doing one game tonight and no studio show instead of 3 games, 2 scoreboards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it
'Cause
would-
there's only so much to go around.
It'd be one game a week the whole season.
It'd be one game a
probably,
week,
if
and the
that.
rest of the
I
money
mean,
would go into here. So,
yeah,
we just, if you feel like this is a worthwhile cause to keep this stuff around, and nowadays with YouTube and Facebook and all of that, there's an outlet for it.
Oh, of course. I mean,
When this was recorded, there wasn't. That was it. It was either on TV or it wasn't. You couldn't do much with it. This is called 3/4-inch tape. You can't play this at home. That wasn't like a VHS. So that was it. Once it was recorded, once it was over, it was history.
No.
And now it's still history, but we have it and we can distribute it. So, we just are hoping that our fellow Region sports fans will come through, chip in, and help us offset some of the cost of that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
couple other scores real quick before we end it here. How about the Mustangs over KV right now in the third, 21-18?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a surprise. KV's strung together a couple wins here. Munster's a solid team too, though. I mean, they again 2-6, but they played a tough schedule. I mean, the NCC has been pretty tough this year. They played LC and they're out of conference. They've had some tough games, and they've been improving. I think I've seen them play. They're physical, and I think they're going in the right direction. They kind of installed their new option offense. I think Munster, they've been kind of in a dark place for the past few years in terms of, their football program. I do think that they are going in the right direction.
Yeah, 2-6 right now, and trying to make it 3-6. And I think it's been a while. I could be wrong. It's been a while since they were, won 1 out of 3 in the regular season.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if you're a Mustang fan, then tonight will be the night. And KV, on the other hand, trying to get over the hump and have a winning season, at least regular season-wise.
Mm-hmm.
One other game to give you a score on, and there's a bit of a discrepancy. I'm looking at 6-6 on my sheet, LaPorte and Portage. I see here on the hometown video scoreboard 12-0 in favor of LaPorte. So you can pick and choose which one you want. We'll figure it out and correct whichever one is incorrect on our end.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But, and we don't have South Central Whiting. We don't have North Newton and Tri-County yet. We're working on those. So that's going to do it right now for the Hose Connections halftime report. Again, we got 3 games going on. Find them on our YouTube channel and find them on our website. You can also find the hometown scoreboard, courtesy of Strachan Van Til, on the Region Sports channel on YouTube. For some reason, Facebook not working tonight. We'll be back later with the Region Football wrap-up from right here in the Centier Bank Studios. For my broadcast partner, Rick Novak, and the young intern here who's shaking things up, James Chalice. I'm Chris Ramirez. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later. This is the Region Sports Network, the only.